My view is that when you are 20 to 30 years old, you should follow a good boss, join a good company to learn how to do things properly. When you're 30 to 40 years old, if you want to do something yourself, just do it. You still can't afford to lose, to fail. But when you're 40 to 50 years old, my suggestion is that you should do things that you are good at, right? And not do things that, oh, that's very interesting, I want to try something new. It's a bit dangerous more. When you're 50 to 60 years old, spending time training and developing young people, the next generation. When you're over 60 years old, better stay with your grandchildren. But this is normally general like that. Not everybody will like, but most of the people will like that. So 30 years old, we people next to 30 years are the luckiest period. We have a lot of challenges, a lot of things are happening, and with our knowledge, with our physical power, it's time you need to change. You have to think, if you want to be successful tomorrow, it's impossible. If you want to be successful a year later, it's impossible. But if you want to win 10 years later, you have a chance. That is what I think. Alibaba is an e-commerce company. E-commerce is a service industry. To serve people better, you should have a service heart. We find that women doing much better jobs than men. And the second is that last century, people compete because of muscle. No, not this century is not muscle, it's the wisdom. And next is, I believe, if a person wants to be successful, you should have a high EQ. But if you don't want to lose quickly, you should have a high IQ. But if you want to be respected, you should have high LQ, the Q of love. So those three Qs put together, a lot of men, they have a high IQ but low EQ, and a very tiny LQ. Women, balance-wise, they're the best. If you want your company to be successful, if you want your company to operate with wisdom, with care, women is the best. In my company, we notice that women, they care others much more than men. Even on our site, today on shopping site, e-commerce, we find that women buy a lot of things. But they buy for their husband, their parents, their kids. Men only buy for themselves mostly. Because you care, that makes you the difference. So I think one of the secret sauce for Alibaba to be successful was successful in the past 18 years because we have so many women colleagues. As a young boy, I never thought, as a young boy, even today, I never thought I would be here. Honestly, I never thought. But as a young boy, when I look back, every problems I met when I was a kid benefited me. I failed so many times. People probably know that I'm applying jobs for so many jobs, over 30 jobs, all rejected, none even got a chance. 24 of us were interviewed for a KFC job. 23 accepted. I was the only guy rejected. 6 people went looking for a police job. 5 accepted. I was the only one. My cousin and I applied job as a server in a 4-star hotel in my city. We waited a long queue for 2 hours. He was accepted. I was rejected. So my mother looked at me, but I know this is a training course for me. Before my 30 years old, I'm a failure. People lose, but I never give up. I think there is an opportunity there. And then I was a teacher later. I graduated from university. I was a teacher in the university for 6 years. Number 5 year, I was elected the best teacher of my university, elected by students. So I said, everything I taught my students are the things I learned from books. what if I go out, spend 10 years, experience all the things, whether fail or succeed, I go back to teach again. That was my original thinking doing Alibaba. So I never thought I could be rich. I never thought I would be successful. I never thought we could survive for 18 years. And then we made it. The only thing that today we should do is share the experience and know-how, especially share the mistakes, suffers with others. My thinking is that, you guys remember, if you want to be successful, learn from the other people's mistakes. Don't learn from the successful stories. Successful stories they make, don't listen to that. There are a lot of reasons behind it. Just like I remember the first time Harvard Business School came to us, say, Jack, we want to write a case study for you. Yes, years 2001 or 2000. They came, they spent 1 week, and they write a report, and I read, no, I said, this is not me. And they said, this is you. I said, no, this is not us. He said, this is you. So they make up his sign, and the case study go up, and they start to teach in a lot of universities. The next 5 years, they invited me to go to the case study, and they always find a competitor of my company. And after every case study, Alibaba will die, that company will succeed. All the students agree. And actually, every 5 years, all the competitors die, we still survive. So how can you study this kind of a successful story? Learn from the mistakes, the other people. No matter how smart you are, you will encounter these mistakes. You learn from mistakes not because you will be able to avoid mistakes. You will able to, when these mistakes come, this suffer comes, you know how to deal with it, how to face it. The book I want to write, if I can, is Alibaba 1001 Mistakes. This is the most treasurable things that in my life. In my life, it's not how much we achieved. It's how much we gone through the tough days and mistakes. And this is what, if you start to think now, it would be good. So if you ask me when I was a boy, I never thought about that. Never. What's the difference between smart and wisdom? My view is, smart people see something the other people don't see. A wise people see something, he pretend he did not see it. Smart people know what he want. A wise people know what he doesn't want. A wisdom, the person with wisdom knows, only you know I don't want this. Then you know what do you want. Yeah, I think it's a good question. I've been thinking about that. First, it's your nature instinct. There must have something that you different. Second is you need training. You should be trained through all the tough experience, but still positive. I found out some great leaders in the world. They are always positive. They never complain others, and never complain. And they look at the things in a different view, like normal people. So I think people in my company, at the beginning, they don't like me because I'll always think about 10 years, 5 years. And then after we're working together for 3 or 5 years, they find, you're right. Then we got the credit rating. And as a CEO, one of the jobs, when everybody's happy, you have to see the unhappy things. When everybody's unhappy, you have to see the happy things. So leadership is nature, but you have to train and learn. And I got my leadership upgraded in Davos. I see so many. Ali Enter Financing, how many people here know about Alipay? Thank you. Alipay's decision was made here. I was thinking about Alipay, but I was not dare to launch Alipay because in China, if you do financing without license, you will be in jail at that time. So I said, I went to the banks, can you help us do the e-commerce on transaction? No, 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 no. No banks would accept it. So if there will be no Alipay, no financing, the e-commerce would go nowhere. So I was, year 2004, I was here. Listen to a speech by two state leaders about leadership. And this guy said, leadership is about responsibility. You believe it, but the people don't believe it. But if you think it's so critical, you should pay any price to do it. So that day changed my mind, and I called back to my team and say, let's launch it within 1 month. If somebody has to go to the jail, I go to the jail. Who will be the second one follow me? If I go, you continue, and you go to the jail, you go continue. That was called the leadership determination. And year 2004, I made a decision here. I called it back. And now today, the Alipay launched, and it's so big, over 800 million people today using Alipay globally. This is called, yeah. I was the first, I know nothing about technology. I know nothing about management. I know nothing about, but the only thing is that you don't have to know a lot of things. You have to find the people who are smarter than you are. My first way is always find people who knowledge on computer smarter than I am. Accounting, smarter than. For so many years, I always try to find the people smarter than I am. And when you find so many smart people, my job is to making sure the smart people can work it together. And then if smart people can work it together, it's easier. The vision they will believe. Because if stupid people can work it together easily, smart people can never work together. But stupid people work it together easily, they don't believe the vision. The people who believe the vision, but they don't work together. So very important is finding smart people, and my job is two things. Making sure they work together. So the culture is important. Long-term is short. You should be ideal with great, strong vision leader, but you should also have to survive today. If you don't survive today, you're gone. So the best way to promote your company is not the you. It's not me as the CEO. The best way is your product, your services, your employees. The best product of your company is your employee. So I spent a lot of time, early days. For the first 2,000 employees of Alibaba, I speak everybody for 1 or 2 hours when they're joining. I said, I will never promise you will be rich. I never promise you will be promoted. But I promise you'll suffer. I promise you will have a terrible life, and right, and all the terrible things I promise when you join this company, right? But good things. If you promise good things, you are misleading them, because I cannot promise myself. We know this is the future, but we are not sure that we will be there. But if we don't work together, we all will lose our job. So that's the thing.
It's a very difficult one to answer, but what are those skills that you think we need to teach? If we're moving away from knowledge, what are the key things?
Value, believing, independent thinking, teamwork, care for others. These are the soft part. The knowledge may not teach you that. Folks, that's why I think we should teach our kids on sports, the music, the painting, art. So making sure humans should be different from, everything we teach should be different from machine. If the machine can do better, you have to think about it. We are fighting every day for the future. We know if we do not work hard, Facebook or Google and Amazon, all these are going to do better, right? So this is why we are globalized. It's a competition globalized. But we know that it's not about technology competition. All the people today, not like 18 founders, we only have 2.5 people are engineers. Today we have more than 25,000 engineers. They are all smart people. They do much better job than the 18 years ago. But the only thing I want to making sure that these people have a philanthropy heart. Because the data we have, the technology we have, if they do not have a great heart inside, we are going to make disaster for the world. Google, Facebook, Amazon, Alibaba, these companies, we are the luckiest company of this century. And we have the luck, if we're lucky, we have the responsibility that we should have a good heart to do something good. But on the other thing I want to say is about that making sure that everything you do is for the future. For example, you know about Singles Day? Singles Day, shopping day, November 11th is the day we created. Last year, that day, we sold 25 billion US dollars for one day. And for the first minute, over 70 to 80 million people rush inside to shop on the mobile phone. So you have to making sure the system is good enough. We have to finish 270,000 transactions per second. Can you imagine that? 270,000 transactions per second. If we do not have that kind of computing capability, the whole system will crash because we have several 100 million people waiting to pay the money. So this technology, we know why we do this for one day, because we want to test the technology. This technology should be inclusive, because we know today in China we create probably like 100 million package delivery. We believe a day. 5 years later, the whole world would deliver 1 billion packages per day. Think about what's the technology. Are we ready for that? So the Singles Day is to testing this technology and to be inclusive. So making sure the market drives them, not the boss drives them. First, let me say this. Every disasters, the environment disasters, is a reflect of human heart today. Because when we need too much, we destroy a lot of things. I think the human being today, in the past 200 years, because of knowledge-based technology or knowledge-based training system, all we want to do is get more. We want more things. We go to the moon, we go to Mars, we go this, we always outside looking. We human beings never inside looking. If you don't have the inside looking, you will never be wise. If you're not wise, you never know what you don't want. Today, human beings get much more than they expect they should have. So the environmental pollutions, the whole thing happening is because human beings become greedy, become arrogant. So this is why the big data, the data technology is trying to understand the inside of human. What is data? Data is the human behavior. A lot of people, trust me, the machine will know you better than you know yourself. Have you seen some movies, some gamblers? You know, they're great. They look at the eyes. If he got a good card, this eyeball will shake. But normal people don't see it. The machine see all the details. Machine know you better. So what I would say is that in the data period, human being next to 100 years, human will try to understand inward looking. We will see a lot of ugly things of ourselves. When knowledge-based outward looking, you see the ugly things of the others and good things. When you look inside looking. This is Chinese philosophy. Chinese people, our believing is always inside working. We're supposed to have inside checking every three times a day. But not really. If you can really do that, you can do that. Then you'll be good. So for environment, you're right. if we do not make action, take action, all the money you make will spend in the hospital, medicine. Our kids will be in big trouble. So let's fix it. And first fix our heart, fix our know-how, and fix our belief. When you have a belief, when you have a religion, when you have a value, it's better. So I think this is what I concerned me. This is what I think the young people should always have, the value, the mission. If you have something you believe in your heart, then it will be different. This is what next 30 years education should be focused on. How do I motivate, incentive or motivate my colleagues? You have to find the people that can mobilize themselves. It's impossible to encourage a negative person. So the people you hire, the people work together, they have to be, or you cannot, we have 65,000 employees now. You cannot hire all of them that positive. But at least the people work with me. My management, leadership, several areas, they have to be positive. They have to know to incentive the others, because I cannot incentive everybody. And making sure the culture. So I think it would be very painful for me to talk to my vice president, and he need to be incentivized and mobilized every time, right? This won't work. If he does not know how to incentivize or mobilize his people, it's better. I don't think he will be the vice president. He should be a good engineer, good designer, but not a good leader. A good leader should know how, but not by only money. Most of people incentivized or mobilized not because you give them a lot of money. You give them respect, trust, appreciation, and correct, heartful advice. When you come to my meetings, internal meetings, you will be shocked, because we are not like a lot of the other Chinese company. The boss say, everybody listen, take notes, and go down. We are like a war room. We make decisions based on whose voice is louder. Right? Early days, we fight and talk, and then making sure everybody speak up. Right. So this is also a way of mobilize and incentive. There are a lot of ways, and different people have a different way to send incentive.